Please be seated. Good morning. I'm very pleased to welcome you this morning to Kiski's 129th commencement. Last night, we recognized the special accomplishments of a number of students in this graduating class. Today, we are here to recognize and congratulate all of our seniors, not just for completing our graduation requirements, but for the work they've put in and for all they've given our school during their time here. Our Kiski families are to be congratulated too for their help and for their support. Seniors, please join me in thanking all the people in the audience today who made this experience possible. It's my pleasure to introduce this year's class speaker. During his 4 years as a Kiski student, Omar Ward has accomplished great things. As our head prefect, he's demonstrated impressive leadership skills. He's a great student, a talented athlete, and a dedicated friend. For all his efforts, he's gained the admiration and respect of our whole school community. Omar received a Division I baseball scholarship to attend Canisius College next year. We'll certainly miss him at Kiski, but we look forward to hearing about the many successes he will undoubtedly have. Please join me in welcoming this year's class speaker, Omar Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Bruningson. Good morning, families, faculty, and my brothers. It is with great honor that I welcome you all to the Kiski School for a milestone in most of our lives. To all the families and friends that have traveled over the highways and byways, I would like to say we are very blessed with you all being here for this marvelous day. The sacrifices all of you parents, grandparents, uncles, and aunts made are so much appreciated. Without a doubt, helped your loved one make it this far to graduating here at Kiski. Truthfully, I never thought this day would come up so fast, you guys. It feels like yesterday we were all moving into McClintock as freshmen and on the first night watching Netflix in Divine and Tim's room on an iPad. I can't tell you all the memories that we've all shared together, the good and the bad, only because there's not enough time to tell all of our tales. Today is a day for all of us to reflect on our time here at Kiski and the events that got us to where we are right now. We all have our different stories that define who we are, but there is always one thing that will stick out with you. Going through a lot of adversity is a part of everyone's life, but this year, personally for myself, having to deal with the death of one of my close friends back home and health issues within my family have made me grown up and mature more than I had intended to. A memory I can speak to all of you about is our last football game of the year against our rival school, Western Reserve. The ride to the game was just as it was for me on my way back to Kiski for preseason 4 years ago. I was anxious, music on full blast, talking to my dad about how far we'd come from the small village of Brenizer, where the population is just our family. Next to me were the same two guys who were by my side freshman year, Divine Buckram and Terrence Kimball. You have your familiar faces, such as those two, and then there were also Dylan Gates and Day Damon, who were two not so familiar faces. But now, even after those short 9 months, I've known these two, I can already tell they are my brothers. We start the game off, and we have the ball first on our own 20-yard line. We're moving the ball down the field, and our game gets turned all the way upside down. Our center snaps the ball 10 yards over my head, and Western Reserve recovers the ball on their own 20-yard line. Our whole first quarter was truly a disaster. They scored on us 3 times in the opening drives, and the ball was snapped over my head once again to allow them to gain good field position. Just as our first quarter went, is how freshman year went. It started off really slow, and a couple of my closest friends and I had some trouble abiding by the rules Kiski set in place for us. We figured we would have to grow up and become more positive influences in the Kiski community other than just on the playing fields. The second quarter was a little better for us. Our offense finally put some points on the board, and by the end of the first half, we were still down 28-14. Sophomore year had shaped up to be better for everyone. We were all kind of separated from each other, with our dorms all being split up, which forced us to adapt and become acquainted with other people in the school. We also added a couple new kids to our class, and Shondell Jones became a part of our friend group. Getting to know so many other people sophomore year helped me become a better person and realize the different things there are to do. Halftime, we had a moment of truth, and Coach Perry asked us, "What is the team you want to be remembered as? The 6-2 team who gave up, or the 7-1 team who put everything on the line and made the comeback?" I made eye contact with Divine and Terrence as we all sat in the lobby of the WRA Fieldhouse, and immediately we knew what we had to do. There were no more words to say. We couldn't practice. We just had to go out there and do what we know how to do, and that is to ball out. We started with the ball, and the third quarter was ours to take from the start. At the end of the third quarter, we were only down 35-28, and we were for certain that we were going to win this game. Just as we came out strong in the third quarter is how we came out of the blocks for junior year. My roommate and best friend, Elijah Brown, and I started our prefect duties in Dobb with our comrades, Jeremy Johnson and Divine, hoping to make our mark on the dorm. We were held to higher standards all around campus because we had the prefect role, and we conquered those standards with ease. We were a great team and knew how to work together. All of us juniors ventured through Mr. Kwiatek's U.S. history course and a boatload of card quizzes, which, incidentally, were not as bad as people made them seem. The end of junior year was jam-packed with the SATs, ACTs, and finishing our junior papers. Everyone managed to make it to the end of junior year unscathed and ready to take on senior year. Now back to the ending of our Cinderella story. We came up big in the fourth quarter and took the lead 36-35, but they scored again and took the lead 36-43. Now I know this won't sound real, but then we scored a touchdown to answer them, but it was called back. We scored another touchdown, and that was called back. You would think after scoring twice and having the referee call each one back, we'd be broken and have nothing left. On our third attempt, we call an audible. Terrence gets the ball, he has nowhere to throw. So he takes off and bolts down the field, untouched, into the end zone. No flag, bringing us to a point with him being tied, the score now being 43-42. Sitting back watching Terrence running the touchdown was how we took on senior year. We kept getting pushed back, but we kept fighting, picking ourselves up. Being able to hang with some of my best friends for one last time and getting closer to others I wasn't able to in previous years because I was stressing about finding a new home after Kiski was an experience I was glad to have. We were down by one with about a minute left in the game, and we had to make a decision. Go for one and tie the game, or go for two and the win. We were a team that always went for it. We wanted to win, and we were going to get it. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. We fell short and lost 43-42. Not everything could be a Cinderella story. Not every story has a happy ending. Yes, we lost that day, but we tried our best and gave it our all. This story, the story of us right now, right here, is a Cinderella story. Yes, we had our ups and downs, our wins and our losses, but we made it. We're here. And we are stronger for having those downs. We are stronger for having those losses. We kept picking ourselves back up, trying harder and harder and reaching farther. I want to say thank you to every single one of you receiving your diplomas today for making our time here at Kiski what it was. All of the memories we made together. But this is not a goodbye. Believe that. Because I plan on keeping in touch with all of you. And I promise you, I give you my word, I will never forget any of you. I love all of you and wish you nothing but the best. And pray that God blesses you with nothing less than you deserve. Because you all deserve the world. I would like to leave you all with some inspiration from the hip-hop artist Wale. And I quote, "The first thing that's important is to have people that really believe in you. If you have that, you can do anything." Thank you.
Yeah, well, you were to introduce me, but it's okay.
I'd like to introduce our Associate Headmaster, Mark Novum.
Class of 2017, on behalf of the headmaster, the Board of Trustees, and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, it is now our honor to present you these certificates of graduation, signifying your successful completion of the course of study requirements at the Kiski Spring School. Diplomas will be awarded randomly, not in alphabetical order. Graduates will cross from my left, receive their diplomas from Mr. Jacob and Mr. Bruningson. And here we go. Zachary Tyler Lewis. Joshua A. Cribble. Shondell Luther Jones, Jr. Jacob Tyler Ramos. Terrence Jamal Kimball. Jason Michael Strange. Seung Hyun Kong. Alexander Henniger McKay. Alec Tyler Belcastro. Cole Jonathan Colone. William Lane Roshot. Sterling Alexander Michael Myers. Peyton Delicio Manco. Omar Khayyam Ward, Jr. Johnson Wong. William James Smartnick III. James Cash Williams. Chi Zhang. Joseph Windsor Lehman. Timothy Eugene Price. Mark Anthony Alexander. William George Mosey. David Nemeka Egbo. Elijah Abel Brown. Jason Jerron Bottoms, Jr. George McConnell Davison IV. James William Thompson II. Thomas Edward Rubino, Jr. Arturo Cardona Ruiz. Win Zeng Tong. Cheng Ye Sean. Wilson Barron Smith. Max Owen Silberg. Thomas James Usher II. Daedalus Alexander Amen. Edward John Rudick. Borja Semelas Sayer. Noah Leo Amerigo Giovanelli. Quinn McCabe Commandant. Cameron Joseph Webb. Hyung Suk Song. Richard Thomas Brophy. Julian Brandon Boykins. Lucas Urban Deschart. Divine Anthony Buckram. Ray Zhu Zhang. Duan William Webb. Dylan Anthony McDonough. Nathaniel Pantier Karen. Wan Ting Chen. Cully Colantino. Hunter Christian White. Wells Talbot Watson, Jr. Benjamin Thomas Gardner. Austin Tyler Jesko. Xavier Jarrell Jamison. Teodora Parizzi Horta Araujo. Feng Wong. Matthew Avery Wickers. George Frederick Zimmerman. Yun Ji Zhuo. Jeremy Roy Ramon Johnson. Joseph Arthur Acoin. Connor Elias Goodwin. Mark Anthony Getz. Zili Zhang. Hunter Douglas Dunlop. And Nigam Darshan Sheth. Yeah, that's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2017. All right, Sterling, I got him warmed up for you. I'm very pleased to introduce this year's valedictorian, Sterling Myers. During his time at Kiski, he's undertaken challenging academic pursuits with passion and determination. He's impressed our entire school with his tremendous intellect and his work ethic. For his efforts, he's been recognized with numerous awards, including membership in the Cum Laude Society. Sterling was accepted to Harvard, Stanford, MIT, and offered a coveted Moorhead-Kane Scholarship at the University of North Carolina. Sterling has chosen to attend Harvard in the fall, where he'll undoubtedly enjoy unbroken success. It's my great pleasure to introduce the valedictorian for the class of 2017, Sterling Myers.
Good morning, Headmaster, Kiski board members, teachers, parents, friends, invited guests, and the class of 2017. It is an honor and privilege for me to be your valedictorian. First and foremost, I would like to thank God for blessing me with parents and siblings that have instilled high morals, standards, and expectations in me, and who love me unconditionally. I truly thank God for giving me extraordinary talents and gifts that were honed and cultivated by fame, poise, and the Jack Kent Cooke Foundation, and refined by all of my teachers, coaches, mentors, and persons that have crossed my path, bridging their knowledge, wisdom, encouragement, and optimism into my life. I would like everyone here to give a round of applause for all the hard work, dedication, and perseverance that everyone here has put forth into making this day a reality. Before we get down to business, let's have a little bit of fun. First, here's a riddle. What's something that the more you take, the more you leave behind? Footsteps. All right. Consider this. A little girl was standing in her kitchen holding an apple in each hand. Her mom came in and softly asked her daughter with a smile, "Sweetie, could you give me one of your apples?" The girl looked up at her mom for a few seconds, then she suddenly took a quick bite of one of the apples and then a bite of the other. The mom was quite shocked, but tried hard not to reveal her disappointment. Then, the little girl handed her one of the bitten apples and said, "Mommy, here you are. This is a sweeter one." So I say thank you to all the people in my life who have made tremendous sacrifices for me to taste the sweeter things in life. And finally, my last piece of fun. I would like to share my favorite quote. It comes from The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald and goes like this. Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch our arms further. Now I want to ask, what is the commonality between all these things, all of my pieces of fun? Well, that's a trick question, because there isn't one. You probably would have continued to try to find the connection because it is innately human to search for connections and patterns. Connections, connections, connections. Growing up in Allegheny County, there are bridges everywhere. In fact, there are more than 2,000 bridges. In order to get anywhere in the county, you have to cross at least one bridge. When I was younger, bridges made me nervous because there was nothing supporting them. That is, they were suspended in the air. And every time my parents would drive over one, I would cross my fingers and hold my breath until we reached the other side. Fast forward about 5 years, during the summer of my 9th grade, my relationship with bridges drastically changed. I was blessed with the opportunity to take an introductory civil engineering course at Clemson University in South Carolina. My first day at the camp, I was apprehensive about civil engineering because I knew bridges were a part of it. Coincidentally, one of my first assignments there was to research and sketch out 3 famous bridges of my choosing. While I was sitting in the studio drawing the Roberto Clemente Bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge, and the Golden Gate Bridge and their surroundings, I had an epiphany. The beginning and end of each bridge really interested me. I liked that these monstrous structures were able to connect people who were miles apart from one another. At that point, I realized that whether I like it or not, bridges have an enormous impact on our lives. They link different locations, peoples, and ideas together. Let's think of bridges as more than roads and cables and supports underneath. Think of bridges as all of the connections that we make with one another and all of the vast potential that those connections have to improve the lives of the people on both ends. Take a second and think about the following question. How many bridges do you have right now? How many bridges are you planning on building in the future? After the course ended at Clemson, I had a greater appreciation for bridges, and I decided to always try to be a bridge myself. Every year since I was in 3rd grade, I volunteered with the U.S. Blind Chess Federation as a game recorder and scorer, thanks to one of the bridges that my mother has made with the Pittsburgh Chess Club. Thus, I began to view my work with the U.S. Blind Chess Federation and volunteering in general differently. As volunteers, we build bridges between ourselves and those who are either different and or less fortunate than ourselves. Through my active participation, I learned about the trials and tribulations of the blind, thus increasing my awareness. This consciousness inspired me to become an advocate for disability rights. I created the American Sign Language Club on campus with one of my closest friends, and interned in the Department of City Planning in the Americans with Disabilities Act office. At this point in my life, I build physical bridges, well, models of them, no real bridges yet. Spiritual, intellectual, emotional, and cultural bridges. But the bridge that leads to my dreams is yet to be completed, and every piece will require a ton of effort to put into place. The next step on my path towards creating that bridge is to study abroad in China this summer and walk and work in excellence at Harvard as I continue to build my bridge toward double majoring in biomedical engineering and Mandarin Chinese. While researching bridges, I discovered that bridge inspections are more artistic than a strict algorithmic science. When inspectors go out to check them, they listen to the various sounds that the bridges make from hammer taps and chains dragged across girders. They also rely heavily on spotting the visual aspects of decay in bridges, such as corrosion, cracks, and stress fractures. High-tech equipment is only used as a safety precaution. You may be wondering, how effective is that? And to your wonderings, I would answer, not very. In 2001, the Federal Highway Administration decided to test inspectors on a subtle but significant flaw in bridges. Only 4% of inspectors found it. In closing, I'd like to leave these final thoughts with the class of 2017. Guys, throughout the years, we have been building bridges by connecting to each other and to like-minded students outside of Kiski, and to others in our respective communities. We may not have liked making all those bridges, but nonetheless, they're here to stay. We are the 4% that passed the test. We pushed each other to strive for excellence, and we've helped each other to develop the eye to see and to acknowledge those subtle flaws in our executions. With that in mind, here is some more bridge advice. For optimal bridge maintenance, it is recommended to inspect them yearly. So remember, guys, check all your bridges, especially the ones to each other, every so often. And hopefully, you will check those bridges more than once a year. Thank you.
Thank you, Sterling. Class of 2017, I know you've dreamed of this day, sitting right where you are now, grasping that important piece of paper, and very soon being able to loosen your tie without having anybody give you hours. That dream may have gotten you through the last few assignments and your final exams, but now it's time to grab hold of bigger dreams. As you leave campus today, each of you will take a small piece of Kiski with you, and you'll leave a small part of yourself behind. Make your way into the world with confidence as a Kiski graduate, man of character, integrity, and determination. I know you'll make us all very proud. Good luck. God bless you.